Okay, so I suppose this is part two of my gaming timeline. It's many hours later. It's, in fact, the next day, early in the morning. Uh, and we're on Call of Duty 2. Okay, so Modern Warfare 2. I had mentioned in my previous section of the video, I don't know if I'm going to split this up or not, that this was I just started tryharding this game. It's like one of the first games that like I really learned a lot from YouTube. Um and I had mentioned again, shout out Woody's Gamer Tag, Wings Redemption, um Hutch, early COD YouTubers. Uh that was a huge part of my childhood. Was watching these guys and learning from them, and I really took a lot of the lessons to heart on just like how to play effectively. Even if I wasn't the most mechanically skilled player in this type of game, I remember like my skills were more like I was more mechanically competent in Halo games where the aim down sight, the quick time to kill, and Modern Warfare 2, kind of the gimmicky nature of it, with like some of the overpowered perks, like, come here, cat. Um, some of the perks, like one man army, commando, some of the crazy glitches that happen in the first part of this game, like it was a good time. Don't get me wrong. I just wasn't mechanically gifted. So I really took to um, the sound aspect of the game, took advantage of that, got my first little Turtle Beaches, and started playing a lot of free for all. I remember one. Um, I had just like I grinded forever to get my first nuke, and it ended up just being like going to free for all, look left, kill somebody, camp same spot, look right, maybe somebody just spawned there, kill them. Look left again, maybe the guy I killed in the first place, he just like wanted to come get a revenge kill. Well, I was waiting for him. I could hear him coming a mile away. That kind of stuff. Um, get a couple of kill streaks going, get a Harrier, you get a nuke in a free for all game, 25 kills in. And yeah, I remember one, like my brother was 8 years older, and gosh, at this point, well, Modern Warfare 2, uh, gosh, he graduated from high school already, something like that. And he was just hanging out. Um, and he watched me go 30-0 and get a nuke in a free for all game. And to him, that was like, what the heck, man? Like he had been, off doing his own thing. Like, he introduced me to like Halo in the first place, but he never really kept going. He was much more involved in like soccer, and like he played a little bit in community college. It wasn't really a big deal for him, but he was definitely more into that. He's definitely more into just like working at that point. And so he was like, dude, this is crazy. You're insanely good at this game. I was like, well, I guess. Like, this is not that crazy compared to the people I watch. Um, but yeah, just I think this was really good for me to, oh gosh, I should have the gameplay running. I thought this was really good for me to just like develop skills. I had previously mentioned I started this game kind of at a like decent kill death ratio, like 1.1 to 1.3. Started watching these guys on YouTube, taking their advice, using dead silence and really using the sound aspect of the game to like listen to footsteps. And ended the game with like a 2.2 kill death ratio. So over like the year timeline that it was the main Call of Duty game. And yeah, I thought that was really quite good. So, I mean, it ended up like I really hit my stride with this game after a couple of patches because the first 6 months of this game were just completely broken. But I really hit my stride in this game the second half. And if I wasn't going 3 or 4 kill death ratio in every single game, it was a bad game. And so like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. This ended up being the game that I was probably the best at that time. And that carried over very, very well into my opinion, still to this day, the very best Call of Duty. And that is Black Ops 1. This is the game that if I were to choose a game to go back in time, maybe start a YouTube video channel instead of doing it when I'm 31, um, I don't care if I was, still mostly actually I was in 11th grade, so I wasn't a squeaker as much anymore. Um, but I started this game with a 3 kill death ratio and held it all the way through the year. Um, yeah, I held it all the way through the year. I had a 3 KD, the on my main account, like the only account that I played, um, all the way through. I didn't play it as much as some other people, right? I think I had like 10,000 games played though. Something like that. It was crazy. Still a lot of hours. Um and yeah, I definitely abused the sound in this game like to no end. And I think at this point like a lot of people had still not hopped on the train of like got to get a Turtle Beach, got to get some Astros. They're on Dead Silence. You know, that wasn't really the meta. I think a lot of people still played COD casually, and I bet most people didn't like Black Ops 1 as much as Modern Warfare 2 because it wasn't as gimmicky, but it was much more skill based. And that was great for somebody who was really just hitting their stride. Um Now I definitely padded my stats by like playing free for all, kind of doing the same like almost spawn killing, right? Where I'd just get familiar with whatever spawn I spawned in a free for all game, hunkered down into a spot that was like, kind of head glitching, um, and just kind of waited for people to come by because you get like three kills and then you get, UAV. And then you can carry that on to 8 kills pretty rapidly because like people are dying and they're just gonna spawn. If you look that way, they're gonna spawn over here, and you just look the other. You just start hearing their footsteps. You look the other way. They don't know you're there. You're not making noise, and they just spawned. Right? It wasn't skillful, but it was fun, and I got really good at just like abusing that. Not to say I wasn't skilled at all, like in non free for all games, but that was like my game mode for sure. I'd go um in the weekly leaderboards. I really wish Call of Duty would come back with like weekly leaderboards, monthly leaderboards, overall leaderboards, and because it was score per minute based, and I could end games in free for all on average like what was it like 2.5 to like 4 minutes was like an average game. 30 and 3, like 10 KD games constantly. If I did that on a Sunday morning, which I would all the time, I'd wait for the weekly leaderboards to reset and I'd get top 10. You know, um, and quickly be, passed up after that. But like, I could easily pad my stats with that game mode, and I could do it on domination, kill, team deathmatch in like ground war as well. It was just it was definitely a different game type of gameplay. I remember having a couple of like, I mean, my longest kill streak was like 50 something kills long. And if you guys don't remember, like on this, you couldn't just like keep getting kill streaks, right? It was just like you got your kill streaks and then that was it for that life. You'd have to die to get them again. And so, I mean, yeah, I remember getting like a 50 kill streak in ground war, having like a couple of 100+ kill games with like less than 10 deaths. Um, so some like I legitimately could have had like gameplays like the one up here easily. They were maybe not as frequent as maybe some of the YouTubers back in the day, like the Marka J or Ronaldinho, some of the insanely good gamers. And of course I was, you know, definitely into the meta of the game, but like again, in my opinion, Black Ops 1 is the most balanced Call of Duty game ever. A little bit longer time to kill. So to me that felt like it was a little bit more skill based. Um a little bit more recoil on the guns. Uh just felt super rewarding to do well on this game. And I wish I could have loved any other Call of Duty as much as this one. But unfortunately, the game lost its magic after Black Ops 1. So again, yeah, I really wish I would have like started YouTube with this game because like it was such a good game for me. I really hit my peak. Um and maybe that's just where I was at that time because I was doing well in a lot of other parts of my life as well. Like with swimming, I had this was like junior year, first year I made it to state. Um I started taking grades seriously, or like high school seriously. And so I like really turned around my academic life this year as well. Um and yeah, so that's just like this I was firing on all cylinders during Black Ops 1 life cycle. It was my favorite Call of Duty by far. So moving on, uh I have kind of a gap in here on like the games I played. I put CS Source. This is not when the game came out. And this footage I have pulled up is of Surf Skyworld. So this was my first year in college, actually, my only year, really. I did some community college after this, but I went to a semester in University of Hawaii. Really expensive vacation. Essentially, I made some poor life decisions at that point. Um, but we live and learn. Uh, I, but yeah, I was just like, I had gotten like my first like gaming laptop that I convinced my mom to buy me for college, and I honestly wasn't playing that much. Like I was playing a little bit of like Modern Warfare 3, but I don't even have it on here, right? Because it was not really my style after Black Ops 1. Like I just could not enjoy it nearly as much. And trying to do it on PC was not working, especially in Hawaii in a dorm. Didn't work out. So I would play a little bit of like Surf. This was fun. It was just kind of like a chill game for me. But yeah, no, but this time in my life, like kind of an absence of video games. I think honestly, after my semester in Hawaii, Uh, World of Warcraft was my main game. Old school RuneScape came back, right? So a little bit of old school RuneScape. Honestly, Zulrah. I have a little bit of Zulrah footage here. This is much later in the game cycle, I think. Yeah, excuse me. A couple years after old school RuneScape came back, but I got into it again. Definitely played it more efficiently than my early childhood. Got into a little bit of PVM, but like still like it, I didn't. I still do not take this game very seriously, or I never got to the point where I was like, you know, firing on all cylinders on this game. But it was fun to mess around. I think at this point I was playing a lot more World of Warcraft actually. Um, I may be totally wrong, but it was like Mists of Pandaria, maybe time. That makes sense to me. Got a little bit, just had some friends I would play like PvP with. It was actually WoW PvP, like arena. Wasn't good at it again, but it was more casual gaming. Uh I had just started like coming back from Hawaii, being like, what am I doing with my life now? Um After not really being able to swim for this team, unfortunately. Uh I was just like trying to figure out like what was having fun. World of Warcraft was like fun, but it was like too much hours. Like I grinded up probably like all the classes to 90, played them casually in arena. Not really proud of this time. I don't think it was very productive at all. But anyways, got my first job, got my first like built my first gaming PC. That was like the first thing I wanted to do. And then it, side note, I was really into Rubik's cubes. Like I had, you know, I think 2008 is when I like started solving Rubik's cubes. But I just did it in a very basic manner. Like I got down to like 30 seconds to solve, and then during this time I was mostly bored. So I um got my average down to 15, which I can kind of do as well today, but I just don't practice it as much. Um but yeah, a little side note on that. I was actually like not gaming quite as much, which is maybe good, maybe bad. I don't really know. It's not like Rubik's cubes were much better, right? It was just a different activity. Um just not on a screen, I suppose. Not helpful. Actually there was some like studying skills, but I had already kind of like dropped out of college at that point, so it didn't matter. Like if I was learning those studying skills, like of just like trying to memorize algorithms and stuff, definitely could have applied that better to life, but that's all right. Live and learn, right? Um, anyways, we're moving on. I think shortly after I got my like first gaming PC, Rocket League came out. I don't think I got it right away, but it was like I do have a 2015 tag on Rocket League. And this is hitting kind of the more modern, this is the end of my timeline essentially, and you can see there's a lot more overlapping, and again, not an exhaustive list. Um there's definitely a lot of different games I play still that are not listed here. But yeah, Rocket League has been my main game for like essentially the last decade. Is that really a decade now? It's crazy. Is a video of just like comparing Rocket League back in the day to Rocket League to 2021, which is not 2025 like the current day. But the game has evolved quite a bit. I was immediately decent at the game. I mean, of course, plenty of racing games as I was growing up, playing on controller. Very comfortable with controller. Um, I wasn't good without like my mouse and keyboard skills ever. Still not really. I'm decent, just not insanely good because it's just not the what I grew up doing, right? But yeah, like my controller skills from like Halo, Black Ops, yeah, Call of Duty, and all the racing games I would play as a kid really transferred into Rocket League a lot more. And this game, I have 5,000 hours. I think on Steam, currently at 4,200 something. Regrettable. Sorry to admit, I have a couple of Smurfs with at least 100 hours each. Xbox probably another 500 hours. Before I like completely switched off of Xbox once like cross-platform came out. And yeah, I mean, the first couple of years I didn't even like get that higher ranked, but man, the climb on this game was so extreme. And it took time, like obviously. 5,000 hours over 10 years is actually, I mean, it's not a, I wouldn't say it's a healthy amount, but it's not as extreme as obviously some pros, right? Like pros nowadays probably have 15 to 20,000 hours in the game. Um, but it was good enough to get me to um, GC2. I got to Grand Champ before free to play came out and SSL was the thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, these are like the generally just the top ranks, like top 1%, essentially. Um, Grand Champ was before free to play came out, it was the highest rank, but it was like 800 out of 20. It was like a third of the way up the ladder, or not, two-thirds of the way up the ladder from like the highest ranked players, and it still essentially is. But there was no like, the best player was Grand Champ, but they were, say 2,400 MMR, and I was like barely 1,500 or something. Um, and but we were both still Grand Champ. Free to play, I believe, came out, and that's when they added like Grand Champ 1, Grand Champ 2, Grand Champ 3. I was already Grand Champ at that point. Um, and I have not made it to SSL, which is Supersonic Legend. Uh, Unfortunately, I've made it to Grand Champ 2, 1650 MMRs. Like so if you guys know anything about it, is my max rank. And so yeah, Grand Champ 2 Div 3 or something. Never made it to Grand Champ 3 even. So yeah, hard stuck Grand Champ 1 here at 31 years old. It's about right. This game, if you don't know, is like dominated by young prodigies anymore. And the mechanical skill of the game has just taken off to a new level, especially in 2025 now. Um, Multiple flip resets. In I mean, I'm sitting in like champ 2 and 3 right now in ranked. And it's not really what I'm playing anymore. Like honestly, I've fallen off at this point. I'm definitely out of practice, but I'm in diamond and ones. Like I've been playing a little bit more ones recently, and I'm just getting flip reset on like crazy. And listen, I can pull off a flip reset. Okay, I swear. I'm sure I could pull up a clip or two, um, but I can't do it consistently. I've spent my fair share of time in free play. The level of skill in this game nowadays is absolutely insane. The skill ceiling in this game is insane. I think this is the most unique game I think I have ever played. I still like. I think it's kind of the best video game ever. I'll hold it to that. Unfortunately, the company that runs it is not really doing a whole lot for it. The game's kind of dying, and that paired with the amount of mechanical skill at the rank I'm at now, like I'm falling behind. So yeah, as much as I love this game, how unique it is, I've heard it described very accurately where this game feels like you are playing a sport. Like I played soccer as a kid, and you could dribble a ball, on your foot. You could um, bounce it on your knee, bounce it on your foot. What do they call that? It's like hacky sack, but with the soccer ball. Um, you could do that in this game, right? And like you are the player. You're not just pressing A to pass to another. You're not playing as a team. Well, as the whole team at once. You're not pressing A to pass, B to shoot like in FIFA. Okay, I'm not throwing stones. Okay, FIFA's a great game. I'm sure it's not my style, but it is, you know, plenty of others. Um, but no, this game is you are the car and you are controlling the ball with or you're controlling your car and you are the player. And it is very mechanically intensive. It's a very unique concept. Um and it again in my opinion this is the best competitive video game in my opinion. Just because of the depth of the gameplay and the skill ceiling. I really do believe that this is like, if it was better taken care of as a game, it could be so much more than it is. Unfortunately, Epic bought it for just some of the Fortnite cards. I don't even know. And to be fair, the studio is seemingly like they're trying to like pick up the effort a little bit, but it just seems like cosmetic battle pass after battle pass, season after season, same freaking thing. Same thing. It's really sad. I'm hoping Rocket League 2, Unreal Engine 5 comes out. I hope it doesn't break the main mechanics, but I hope there's some kind of resurgence in Rocket League because it'd be nice to be good at a video game again. Because I'll be honest, like, um, you know, I definitely did want to go pro at a certain point in this game. And there was never really a time I was ever going to be able to do that. Maybe early on if I had grinded a lot more. Um, but the mechanical skill nowadays is so far beyond what I am capable of. I mean, yeah, maybe if I put another 5,000 hours into the game, I could get up to like the highest rank again. But that just takes so much time that I don't have anymore. I'm working full time, you know? I'm married. I have a wife. I cannot spend that much time on a video game anymore. I know it's sad. Oh, I don't even have any gameplay up for the next two. Well, let's go ahead and just like, you know, pull up a little bit of just like stock Overwatch footage, huh? Just give me some Overwatch. Where do we got? I'm leaking my recommended stuff here. Sure, most viewed Twitch clips of the week. Let's just put that on the background. Play a little Overwatch. I played it since it came out in 2016. Wow, that took a while on that Rocket League tangent. 2016, I definitely played Overwatch the day it came out. Overwatch 1. and I probably have over 1,000 hours on it. But it wasn't ever my main game. Like I said, like mouse and keyboard, I've never really been all that good at. Like I'm a decent player. Like I made it to plat, but it's nothing like my um like percentage wise. Like Rocket League Grand Champ 2 is like top 0.2%, you know, where it not even hitting diamond in Overwatch is probably like, maybe top 30%. I don't even know. I don't even know. Not that skilled at the game. It was fun. Definitely played it with some of my best friends throughout the years. I wish more people would have stuck around and played this game a little bit longer. Like a lot of my friends were just like too cool for it. They were playing CS, um, and like you know, Counter Strike's fun. I guess it's not not my game. Again, like I never really got Zarya. Zarya's my main for sure. I never really got into Counter Strike, and like I feel like it's too late to get into it now. Like people have similar to Rocket League, but the game's been out for since what 2004, some version of the game. And I know like CS2, CS Go are like different somewhat mechanically, but it like the sightlines, even the maps, um, the way you play the game is essentially the same as I understand it. And so like I've never been good at it. And like e- even in Call of Duty, like a lot of my friends would like play Search and Destroy, and that would never be my style either. And so just that like I like respawn game modes. I don't like to sit around and dwell on my mistake and sit around and just hope my teammates clean up after me. That's just it's not my style. I'm way too ADD for that. I can't just sit around. I got to be doing something, right? So yeah, Overwatch was good. I wish people would have stuck with it more. And actually, so part of the reason this is on here, I don't even play it that much anymore, but like it's a fun game to play with my wife. Um I met my wife 3 years ago. Something like that. Got married very recently. Uh and yeah, some of the things that we really bonded on was gaming. Overwatch was a game that we played together mostly. I mean, we don't even play that many video games together anyways, right? But because we just have different games we like. She likes playing Apex, I like playing um Rocket League, and I'll get to it like Trackmania recently. Trying to find some new games, but Trackmania has been really fun lately. I'll get to it. But yeah, Overwatch is always going to be fun. Overwatch 2 obviously is very disappointing. They've done some things with perks recently, which is kind of cool. Uh, I don't know if it'll really get me into playing it more seriously. I wish I would enjoy ranked a little bit more. But I don't know. Still seems kind of stale. If I had more people to play with it, which I kind of do actually at this point. Like there are my wife and I do actually have a couple of people we could be playing it with. Just not that often, right? And it's a great game. I love the concept. I wish I would have played it a lot more in the early days, and I wish I had more of a friend group in the early days that enjoyed playing it. But yeah, no, it's a good time for sure. Sorry. Oh my gosh, my cat is taking over my arm. Um, just kind of go over the last couple of games I put on here. Again, some of the games that me and my wife play. Put some Genshin Impact. I don't know. Genshin Impact. So again, one of the things that we actually just like bonded over um was anime. I during COVID I had a bunch of extra time. I wasn't really doing a whole lot of coaching during that time. Made a made a job switch, still in coaching, but um, at the first part of COVID, like the team I was coaching for at the time, essentially just lost their pool, and so I had all this time, getting the pandemic money a bit, and you know, I should say, Battle for Azeroth for World of Warcraft was out. I did a little bit of Mythic raiding. That was like the only amount of raiding I ever did. It was fun. It was good. Fire Mage. Um, but yeah, that Rocket League. Um, Started watching anime. Never did that before. I was just like bored. Couldn't figure out. Anyways, a couple years later, like I had friends that played Genshin Impact. I played, I think, a little bit before I met my wife, went out on our first date, and we kind of bonded over that as well. And so I started playing it a little bit more. Still very casual at this game, honestly. um, it's kind of a guilty pleasure. But I just, I mean, the style is very nice, right? Like, um, it's just nice to look at. It's very stylistically, it has that like anime style to it. Um, and yeah, it's a good game. Spend an embarrassing amount of money sometimes. Gotcha games will do that. Uh, I would say it's not the healthiest habit. Still very much a casual, but you know what? It's a fun game. It's a fun game. And I'm going to keep playing it, I'm sure. So, a little bit of money here and there. I've probably spent more money on Rocket League, anyways, just on their loot boxes over the 10 years. So, as long as I keep it responsible with Genshin, um, it's not going to be an issue. Yeah. And so the last thing we have on here is just a little bit of Trackmania. Again, I didn't get to this point where I was. Oh, look at that! It's my recommendation. It's like all Rocket League and Trackmania still. Still watch a lot of Rocket League. I mean, like 5,000 hours in the game. I'm not gonna just completely abandon the game, but like, it used to be like my last 2 weeks, especially during COVID, was like more than a full time job. There were times where it was like 80 hours last 2 weeks on Steam. Um, and I would say Trackmania is kind of the closest thing to hitting that kind of level of like gameplay recently. Um, but I'm not nearly as good at Trackmania. It's going to take some time for me to really pick up some of this. Um, well, just, I suppose climb the ladder. It's a little different. One thing I really like about Trackmania, obviously, I've always enjoyed racing games. I've never been like insanely good at them, but it's fun, right? And actually, like I think the best part about Trackmania, honestly, is the localized competition. So if you don't know, I live in Washington State in the U.S. and well, I get whatever tracks I'm playing, you know, it's gonna tell me where I place in Washington, which is really cool because like, if you just see that your world ranking and you're a couple thousand back, you're gonna be kind of discouraged at first, especially after watching, some of these guys on YouTube who are the best players and they're getting world records constantly. Um, you and then you try to play the game and it's like impossibly hard compared to like what you're seeing here. Um, And yeah, this guy's playing a map and can't even complete it. He's like the best player in the world. Um, yeah, but the localized competitive aspect of it is really nice. I'm the even in the like the their trophy points, just it's kind of like experience. It's just like how often you play the game, and it like erases after a year. Um, I'm only I'm only top 100 in Washington, climbing very rapidly actually, but um the new weekly shorts game mode has been really fun. I've gotten second place in Washington in a couple of the weeks. Um but I'm never going to get first place in Washington. Never. There's a 14-year-old turtled who's going to destroy me every single week. The only reason I don't even know if he's that old, but he's definitely what I would call a squeaker. No offense, dude. Um, but I'd like he's played the game way more, put a lot more hours in. He's young, so he's gonna have that natural, just mechanical talent. He's just ready to pick up a game like that and getting world records. I should mention he's like top 5 in the world. So kind of unfortunate that there's a player like that in my state, right? So I'm never gonna get rank 1 in Washington, or at least not for a very very long time. Um, but that's okay. It's cool because now I'm seeing like, okay, if I can get top 2 in Washington, well, can I get top 50 in the states, which I have. You know, the couple of weeks where I was top 2 in Washington on the weeks where I've really done well with the with the maps. I think I have to double check, but I think I was like top 100 or in the realm of top 100 um for those weekly shorts world, which was pretty cool. So yeah, this is kind of my new game that I've really enjoyed grinding. I think I've realized though that like the weekly shorts are not as competitive as the main game, like because you know I get like top 2 in the weekly shorts and I like grinded the heck out of them, and then I go into a campaign and I'm just like lucky if I get a top 10 in Washington. So, um, you know, I still definitely think that I am very naturally good at the game, but there's definitely a lot more for me to learn, and that's exciting because um, it's been tough to find a game that like I've really wanted to grind lately, just for lack of time, but also just for like the kind of like for me, I really have been enjoying these grindy games lately. Um, Maybe a little bit more repetitive, but just like refining a skill. And in Rocket League, like there was a lot of that. Like, yeah, you were being competitive against other players, but there was a lot of just like grinding your mechanical skill. Like, if you guys don't know, like in Rocket League, like one of the best things you can do to improve on a game is sit there and free play and just grind your car control. And this game is the closest, I would say, to kind of replicating that. Because, I mean, for me, that's just like the kind of activity I enjoy anymore. Um, but I'm only like 400 hours in. But I really started picking this up like really 2 months ago. So it's it's not. I played it a little bit of last year, but I've really picked it up again recently and enjoyed it. Bought a steering wheel and realized not the way to do it at all. But maybe I'll play some like VR dirt games with it. That's cool. Um, I think for the most part that concludes my gaming timeline.